Hello, Westwood students. This is Miss Browning, your lead counselor, and today we're going to be talking about course selection for next year. I know it always seems early talking about this in January, but this is just kind of the timeline for being such a large school, us getting all your courses selected. It really starts this time every year. So this year is different. I think we all are aware. So course selection is going to look different as well. Since we're not all in the building, we can't do it the old traditional way where we come into your classes, we go over the choice sheet and all of that. So this year it's done virtually. So I'm going to walk you through this process so you'll know exactly what to do. So first thing, you will be sent this Google form to your email address later today, if it's not already there. So the first thing when you do get to this Google form is I want you to click on this video. Before you do anything, I want you to watch this. This is less than 20 minutes. But what it does, it's going to go through every subject and tell you, based off 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, what class you should be taking. So it's going to give you the natural progression. So it's going to do this for your core classes, but also go through the elective pathways as well. So again, I think this is just a great, easy tool, especially if you're in the younger grades, to help you kind of know what comes next. So again, it's less than 20 minutes. Please watch it. It will answer probably all the questions you have. Okay, so once you watch that video, the next thing here is a link to your virtual choice sheet. So when it comes up, you're going to see this is just like the paper choice sheet you've gotten in the past. If you're a 9th grader this year, this is going to be a much larger choice sheet than you had when you were in 8th grade last year. So there are about hundreds of classes for you to choose from. And because some of these classes are new and you might not know about them, the nice thing is all of this choice sheet is interactive. So, for example, if you're thinking of you might want to take Principle of Robotics, you would click on the class. It's going to give you what grade level options you can be in. If there's any prereqs, what is the class going to cover? A short description. How are the grades based? What's the instructional style? What's the assessments going to look like? What's the average homework load? It's going to give you all of this. And you can do this not just for the electives, but you can do this even for like the core classes. So for example, maybe you're thinking you might want to take AP Bio next year. You would click on the class. Again, look at the course description, look at the prereqs, grading structure, the description of how it's taught, the homework load. Is it something you can commit to? Does it interest you? If yes, pick that class. So this is going to be a very useful tool you will want to explore. Okay, once you've watched the video, you've explored the choice sheet, I want you and your parents to fill this form out together by February 1st. So you have a few weeks. The reason I ask for your parents to do it with you is if you fill it out by yourself and submit, your parents are going to eventually say, I want to see what you selected. Once you submit, you cannot submit again. So if they want you to change everything you selected, you won't be able to submit for a second time. At that point, if you have any changes, after you submit, you're going to have to email your counselor to make those changes versus just submitting it correct the first time. Before you submit, if you have any questions, so let's say you've watched the video, you've looked at the choice sheet, but you still have a couple questions that you want answers to before you submit, before you make that final selection before February 1st, what you're going to do is just scroll down here, look for your last name breakdown, or if you're an 11th or 12th grade student going into IB, you would email your counselor or you can call them. Either way is fine. But before they talk with you, they're going to say, have you watched the video? Have you looked at the choice sheet? Because that should answer most questions. So again, if you have any questions before the February 1st deadline in submitting, contact your counselor. And the last thing on this page is just the general timeline. So again, January 12th, today through February 1st, watch the video, explore the choice sheet, ask your counselors any specific questions you have, and submit the form with your 8 courses. From February 1st through March 31st, your counselor is going to be looking through every single one of their students' choices for next year and entering them into the computer. If they see anything that causes them concern, like maybe you signed up for a class that has prereqs, but you don't have them, they might call you and say, hey, I saw you selected this class, talk me through it, why you did, and we might need to change it. So, you might get contacted between February 1st and March 31st to discuss your course selection. If everything looks great, you won't get any contact there. On April 1st in Home Access, your course selections for next year are going to be available for you to see. This is a good time to just double check that we didn't make a mistake, because when we're data entering 3,000 students worth of courses, there is a chance we could make a mistake. So we're human. So please let us know if you see something wrong, or if you've changed your mind on anything. This is your last chance to change your mind. After May 1st, there are no schedule changes. If you tried to get a schedule change out of an elective at the beginning of this year, you were told no, and you know we're serious. We base the master schedule and our teacher hiring based off the courses you select by May 1st. So that April 1st to May 1st is key. You need to log on to Hack and double check your courses for next year are correct. And you'll be given reminders between that time to do that, but I want you to see the big picture. Okay, once you've gone through this first page, you're going to click Next. I'm going to work through it and pretend like I'm a student to show you exactly what you will be expected to do. So last name, so Browning. I'm going to type that in. First name, Holly. Student ID number. I don't have a student ID number, so I'm just going to type in some ones. Please type in your ID number. No S's needed. Student email address. So Holly Browning at roundrockisd.org. Type in yours. Put in your cell phone if you have one. Again, this is just going to make it easier if the counselor has a question about your course selections to contact you. Please list who your counselor is. Well, my last name is Browning, so I would fall into Miss Kateris as part of the alphabet. If you have any special services, special ed, 504, ESL, please go ahead and select. If not, just click none of the above. Next, you're going to put in your parent information. So put in their names. So I'm just going to go ahead and write the letter A. Y'all don't need to know who my parents are. Again, put in their email address. So again, just a way for us to contact them. And again, their cell phone. So again, if you don't have a cell phone, this is going to be our way we can contact them as well if we have any questions on your choice sheet. So again, write them out fully, even though I just put a letter or a number in. Okay, now this is where your course selection begins. So for English, everybody's got to take an English class next year. As you watched that video, it told you based off what you're in this year, what you'll take next year. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to take English 2 next year. So I'm going to click English 2. And then I'm going to scroll down. If you're taking something else like creative writing, you might select 2 courses under this area. Or if you're an IB and you need to select TOK, you'll need to do this as well. So next. So far I've got English selected. Now for social studies. Okay, I'm going to probably be taking world history. So I'm going to check world history. So I've got 2 of my course selections made. Again, you might be interested in taking some of these social studies electives down here, like sociology, psychology, AP Psych. So again, you can mark all these as well. Okay, math. So let's say next year I'm going to be taking advanced algebra 2. So now I have 3 of my courses selected. So I'm going to scroll down. Okay, science. I'm going to be going ahead and I'm going to take AP Physics 1 next year. So I've got my four classes. But again, I might also want to take a second science, maybe one of these elective ones down here. I can select 2 from here if I want. It's up to you and the 8 courses you want. So for language, you can say I'm not taking a language this year. So if you've already met your language requirement, you've already taken your 2 years of the same language and you don't want to continue, or whatever, you can say not taking, or you can pick your language. So maybe I'm going to be going into German 3 Advanced next year. So then I will continue. So right now I've got my 4 core classes in my language. So I'm at 5. So I only have 3 more classes. So as I go through, I want to make sure I'm only selecting 8 options. So maybe I've already done my PE credit. I've already gotten that done. So I'm not taking anything from this category this year. But if you're an athlete or you're taking PE, you would select that. I will say pay close attention, cross country and track. These do not meet during the school day. They are before or after school. So you technically would have more than 8 classes if you sign up for cross country or track because they're before or after school. So that's the only exception to having more than 8 classes. So I'm going to go ahead and click next. I've marked that I'm not taking anything there. So for the fine arts, art, you know what? I'm not going to take an art class. So I'm not taking anything from this category. Theater arts, maybe I'm not going to do that this year either. So I'm going to say not taking. But maybe I do want to take a dance class. And I've actually already been in the TAP sequence. So I'm going to take TAP 2 next year. So that puts me at 6 classes. I've selected 6 of my 8. Maybe I'm not going to take anything from piano. And I'm not going to take anything from band. And again, there's orchestra as a fine art. I'm not going to take anything from that this year. So I'm going to click not taking. And choir is going to be here as well. And I'm going to say I'm not taking any. So at this point, I've gotten my 4 core, my foreign language, and I've selected dance. So I'm at 6. Now we're going to look at the academy electives. And again, it's broken down by the different academy pathways. I'm not in the human services pathways. I'm not taking anything there. There's education. You know what? I've actually was in principles of education this year as a freshman. So next year I'm going to take human growth and development. So that's my 7th class. I wasn't in ROTC, so I'm going to say not taking. Computer science, that's not something I'm wanting to take this year, so I'm going to say not taking. Introduction to engineering, the engineering classes, I'm not on that pathway, so I'm going to say not taking. And I know you might be thinking, why am I saying not taking? Why can't I just scroll past it? We want to make sure you don't accidentally skip a section. So by clicking not taking a class, it makes you really look to see if anything in that section interests you. You know what? I have been wanting to take digital media. I didn't take it as a 9th grader, but I really want to take it. That is going to be my 8th class because I had my 4 core, my LOT, so my language other than English. I had a dance, I had digital media, and I did my education class. So I am at 8. So at this point, I just need to go through and say I'm not taking these other courses because I've already picked my 8 classes. So not taking, keep scrolling down. And again, this is a good double check because what happens if you selected 8, but then you came across one, you're like, oh, I wanted to take that too. You would have to make those decisions. So again, pick your 8, be 100% sure that's what you're wanting to take. So have that conversation with your parents. Look at the interactive choice sheet to make sure you're selecting the best 8 classes. Okay, once you've gone through the academy courses, the last sheet of electives you might take are going to be your miscellaneous courses. You will see there's pros are listed here. A lot of students like to try out for pros as a junior or senior, but very few students make it. So you actually are going to want to let us know that you're trying out for this. Unless you've made the actual program, you may not select these to begin with. So I'm going to say not taking, and I'll explain later how to fill that out. So on the last page, you're going to want to make sure you've given us 3 alternates. So if one of your classes does not work with your schedule, what are other things you might be interested in taking? So let's say, for example, I wrote tap. If tap doesn't work, I'd be fine with taking a jazz class. If I can't do one of my other electives, I'd be interested in taking AP Computer Science. And maybe I'd be interested in taking an Art 1. So I'm going to put those as my alternates. Then these are your honor statements. These are things you need to read to make sure you fully understand. Everybody must read through them. I would again encourage you and your parents. And it's just saying you're committing, these are your 8 classes. One final check. I want you to make sure, did you select 8 classes? Again, the only option of selecting more than 8 is if you did a cross country, a track, or maybe off-campus PE. Those would be the only options. Summer classes. If you're going to take something over the summer, whether it's ACC or a correspondence class through UT High School or Texas Tech High School, we want to know what you're going to take. So for example, let's say maybe you're thinking about taking an ACC US history class. Okay, let us know. And if you want us to then take it off your schedule, so maybe you signed up for US history, but if you take it over the summer, what would we take it off? You would say replace with an off block with another class. Maybe you're going to take AP psychology in its place. if you pass US history over the summer. The last place down here is where you're going to want to tell us any other notes for things you're trying out for. So maybe you're trying out for a sports team, pros, partners in PE, Warrior Pride, Sundancers, anything like that, I would want you to put here. So, or cheer. Trying out for pros. If I take out my jazz class. So that's what I would want taken off my schedule if I make it. And then your final step is click submit, and that's it. Hope this helps walk you through the process.